Hello and welcome to Kmc Sports right here on Kmc TV. I'm Afolabi Kende Hassan, and you know I will do it every time on the show. We have several news, we have a lot of topics to talk about on this edition of the program. The Super Falcons of Nigeria disappointingly lost out at the final of the Aisha Buhari Cup on Tuesday against the Bayana of South Africa right there in Lagos. And of course, we have stories from abroad: Messi, Kane, Lewandowski, Sadio Mane, and African players doing well right there in Europe. We have so many things to talk about on this edition of the show. And I'm not alone today. I am with a colleague on the show. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the show. Dominion. Now let's get going. The Super Falcons of Nigeria disappointingly lost by 4 goals to 2 in the final of the Aisha Buhari Cup in Lagos. Yesterday, they were beaten by the Bayana of South Africa by 4 goals to 2. But unfortunately for Nigeria, in that one they conceded 2 penalties and an own goal in that final, so they lost out. Disappointed, our Super Falcons ranked number 1 in Africa, and at the start of the competition, we were hopeful that they can bring home, the trophy will remain here in Nigeria. But disappointingly, at the final, they made it to the final and lost out to South Africa, who are ranked 3rd in Africa. How do you rate the Super Falcons in this tournament, given they were favourites heading into it and they lost out in the final?
They are outstanding. They were very, very well. I watched their games, like they are very, very outstanding. But the Bayana too are doing very, very fine. If you look at what they have done in the last 2 years now, they are doing very, very fine. And even like they showed to be a more stronger opponent than forget about the rankings. To me, the rankings are just there. They are not ranked based on what they have achieved 2 years or something like that. It's over time. So it has always been there, and Nigerians are being champion over time. So I think the Bayana are getting they are more stronger side in Africa
than Nigeria currently. But of course, it's disappointing one for Nigeria, I must admit. And maybe a revenge for South Africa. We beat them by 1 goal to 0 in 2016 in the African Cup of Nations, the Women African Cup of Nations, and this time they got the better side. They got the better result and claimed the title. Congratulations to South Africa for winning that tournament. And of course, teams prepare for the new season in Nigerian Premier League. The season commences in few weeks' time, and then we'll get to talk more about how the scenes in the local scenes. I'll talk about things going on in Europe right now. The most talked about football players, the likes of Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo, Lewandowski. Let's start with Lionel Messi. On Sunday, he was substituted by PSG coach on his 3rd appearances for Paris Saint-Germain since his move from FC Barcelona. He was substituted and he turned down an handshake approach from his manager. Messi now has 3 appearances without a goal in Paris Saint-Germain. Do you think he's kind of showing frustration by not accepting the handshake of his manager?
He should be frustrated. Like emotions setting, and trying to get his first goal for the club. Since that move, and this is the third appearance for the club, and just trying. In that game, he had hit the bar from the free kick, and so it's just frustration. Although there are footage that we are seeing that he was injured or something like that, that's why they had to sub him. But regardless, I believe he should have composed himself more, just getting into a new team and every other thing. But you see the fan base, Messi FC, I've seen what they have said on Twitter, on everything, you should not have. So with time, you can't write him out. With time, I think they will just get along.
Of course, and he won't be playing on Wednesday when PSG play against Metz. It has been confirmed that he is injured. He injured his left knee. I won't be available for that match. And of course, a lot of people have been talking about that. Maybe he's not really injured, and maybe they were trying to solve an inner crisis between the manager and the player. Do you think substituting a player should cause such?
Yes, substituting a player can cause a crisis within the team. But to me, I believe this is a new team. If you are Barcelona, for example, when he was in Barcelona, that it will have be a more bigger crisis.
Of course.
Why? But you are just coming to a new. I don't believe in what people are saying about that. Oh, maybe they are trying to solve a crisis or something. Let's just pick it up that he has an injury. Sergio Ramos is here to make his debut too.
Of course, still on the sideline. And let's talk about another man who has been below par this season. Talking of Harry Kane, the English striker has just 10 touches in the opposition box so far this season in Premier League games. He has played 4 times and has not scored a goal. Do you think this is the aftermath of Tottenham preventing him getting his move away from the club in the summer?
Exactly.
Wow.
Exactly.
That's a bold
It
one.
will show on his performance. Last season we witnessed with Jadon Sancho too when that move didn't materialize and he ended up, although he picked himself up. So I think this is just match day 4 or something like that. But I'm not having much touches and not having he's not being much involved in the team and everything. And moreover, it's a new manager, it's a new system, and after the issue of not coming to training, many things. So I believe he has not gelled in very well. Although it's not a new thing to him, but he's a new manager. It's a new system already. So
because another player, Sadio Mane, over the weekend he scored again against Crystal Palace. Now he now has 9 goals. He scored in 9 consecutive games against Crystal Palace in Premier League games. That is the most times a player has scored in consecutive games against a single team in the Premier League. And right now he has 98 to 99 Premier League goals when you talk about it. How do you rank Sadio Mane among African players who have reached the Premier League?
Sadio Mane is one of the best African players that have reached the Premier League.
And when you look at it, Didier Drogba is currently the top scorer when you talk about African players in the Premier League, 104. And looking at the appearances of Sadio Mane, when he will equal that, given the time before he equals that Messi Drogba record, I think he would have played shorter game than Drogba. And Mane is not a striker; he's a winger, and Drogba is a striker. So, how do you rate Mane when talking about
Actually,
Drogba?
when we want to rate them, you want me to make comparison about Drogba and the both player
Yes.
So different era, different time.
Yeah.
So Drogba was very, very phenomenal for Chelsea, and we've seen what he has done.
One of the best in the Premier League.
One of the best you can reckon with. And so I believe the game is changing, new rules and everything. So I believe I don't want to make more comparison about how shorter or something. New records are meant to be set broken and everything. So let's just I won't buy the idea of comparing them.
All right.
But Sadio Mane is in very, very good shape.
Another man who has been in a rich goal scoring form. Now, we talk about Robert Lewandowski. On Tuesday, he was given the European Golden Shoe for the 2020-2021 season when he has scored 41 Bundesliga goals. And he said, after the award, now you can call me Lewandowski. Well, when you look at things right now in the Bundesliga this season, he has 7 goals so far. Same number managed by Braut Haaland of Borussia Dortmund. And the last time Lewandowski failed to win the Bundesliga top scorer, he was beaten by another Borussia Dortmund striker that I was talking about, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Do you see Erling Haaland replicating the same this season?
Nothing is impossible. Haaland has been in fine form, since he come to the limelight. It's the guy's been, he's built in the lab. So
built to score
I won't
goals.
rule it out. But Lewandowski too is. I think last season Lewandowski Haaland made a comment or something that even when he tried to push more, that he doesn't know the kind of Lewandowski or something like that is a level. So yes. I believe it makes it competitive.
Yeah.
But I want to.
Well, like I said finally something competitive in the Bundesliga. That's the top scorer, more competitive than the league when you look at it, because Bayern Munich have been dominating for 8 to 9 seasons now, winning the championship without anyone challenging them for it. And let's talk about another striker, Tammy Abraham. Jose Mourinho saying he wants to build him into a striker that will be a starter for England, and if Gareth Southgate doesn't choose him, then you advise him to change his nationality and then play for another country. Do you see Tammy Abraham beating the likes of Harry Kane, Dominic Calvert-Lewin to being the number one England
You
striker?
know, the issue with England is we have a lot of players playing for England. So
Okay.
when you talk about you talk about Bamford, you talk about Calvin Lewin, you talk about Danny Ings, you
Yeah.
talk about you see even Jamie. I think Michael Reke was saying something like that. No, now you understand in the why Jamie Vardy
Jamie
was
Vardy
forced to
to
retire
retire.
early. So let's see what comes up. Let's see what comes up from that. Like it's the numbers that will determine. Even at the numbers, I don't think there will be a striker that will just come and push Harry
Harry
Kane
Kane, of
off
course.
that thing for now.
Of course,
So
that's true. And another away from the striking department, and let's move to the goalkeeper. Over the weekend, Ederson Moraes of Manchester City made his 150th Premier League appearance in goal for the citizens, and he has kept 50% clean sheet in that game. In games he has played in the Premier League, 75 clean sheets in 150 Premier League games. When you look at the number, I don't think any goalkeeper has managed to come close to that. So when you talk about goalkeepers in the Premier League, where do you think Ederson ranks right now?
I will just put him in time frame of he's one of the best in the league, like in the best in the league that we have in the last 4 seasons. You know, it's different era. So and you can't expect a team that have spent over 400 million in the last 5 seasons on defense alone to concede that number.
Of
So
course,
I don't want to make comparison or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So it's about the setup of
the
the
teams.
team.
Yeah. And of course, another team, Norwich City, they've lost 15 consecutive Premier League games. That is a record in the Premier League under a single manager. They're the first team in the history of Premier League to lose 15 times consecutively under a single manager. And you know, this team, they come to the Premier League and go back to the Championship, and when they get to the Championship, they dominate and then come back to the Premier League only to be sent back to the Championship. Do you see them staying in the Premier League this season, given they've played 5 games without recording a point?
Like this is just Matthew 5. When you are talking about Norway, or let's just bring it to the fact that they are yet to 15, like that number about 50, even 15, like the manager Daniel Ferk, like I don't know, maybe they have this confidence in him for, because to me 15 is very very a manager to lose 15 matches consecutively, like that's the number is not good, like it's not even a good report. But I believe the board and the manager or something like that, maybe it suits the philosophy, suits the arrangement of the hierarchy. That's why they just be like, let's just
Leave him.
Let's just leave him. And
All right.
but it's still early to judge or to bring anything. They are just coming by. They just lose their first 5 matches, and let's see, we still have 33 matches to go.
All right, the season is still young, as you always say. Let's take a look at the round 3 games, the result of the round 3 games played so far in the Carabao Cup. Brentford beat Oldham by 7 goals to nothing. Marcus Forss, 22-year-old striker, scoring 4 times on an historic night for Brentford right there. Burnley beat Rochdale by 4 goals to 1. Fulham and Leeds United played goalless, and then of course Leeds United progressed to the round 4 on penalties. Manchester City beat Wycombe Wanderers by 6 goals to 1. Liverpool away at Norwich won by 3 goals to nothing. Cheltenham lost away to Preston North End by 4 goals to 1. Everton and Queen's Park Rangers played out a 2-2 draw, and it was the Rangers that progressed on penalty after Davies lost from the sports kick. Sheffield United and Southampton played out a 2-2 draw, and Southampton progressed to the round 4 on penalty. Stoke City beat Watford away by 3 goals to 1, and Wigan Athletic lost at home to Sunderland in the round 4 games played already. And of course, games coming up on Wednesday, we have Brighton and Albion will be at home against Swansea City, Arsenal at home against Wimbledon FC, Chelsea host Aston Villa, West Ham United host travel to Manchester United. The repeat of the match that came up over the weekend. Manchester United winning dramatically in that one. And of course, Jesse Lingard, the player who spent the last season on loan at West Ham United, doing them hard in the later minutes of the game. And of course, David De Gea saving his first penalty in the Premier League for the first time since 2014 to deny Mark Noble, keeping West Ham United unbeaten record so far in the Premier League this season. How big do you think that point will be for Man United coming the end of the season, winning 3 points against a West Ham United side who have been one of the big. They were top six in the Premier League last season. So of course, when you look at the team sheet and everything, now they are one of the big sides, bigger sides when you even not compared to the likes of Chelsea, Liverpool. But they are doing well in the Premier League season. But picking 3 points away from one there, how big do you think that will be for Manchester United?
Like, even though we are still early in the season. Like any point you lose down, you can't recover them.
Of course.
So it's a very very good one. And watching the game or something like it make it more dramatically when the goal came in at the last minute and drama that unfold, the event that unfold in the game. Like Cristiano Ronaldo was denied 2 penalties in that game and in that game. So it makes it like they just need that 3 points. You see what the likes of Liverpool and Chelsea are going toe to toe on the league and every other thing. So it's just, even though they are not making big statements to the title challenge now, but at least getting that number, getting that point is very very essential. So even 1 point is very very essential.
Let me cut it short there. Talk about Chelsea and Liverpool this season in the Premier League. They are maintaining the same number, and they have been very fantastic this season. Chelsea, most importantly, over the weekend beat Tottenham away at the Tottenham Stadium in London by 3-0 now. They played 3 times at the Tottenham Sport new stadium and they've won all the 3 games played there so far. Chelsea this season, I must say, they are not just title contenders, they are one of the favourites to win. One of the 2 to 3 favourites to win the Premier League season, given their performance in recent times. What do you think?
They are very very outstanding. When they have a good manager. Let's go back to January this season. This year when Frank Lampard was in charge, he was saying this Chelsea team can't compete after he lost to Crystal Palace. Like he was saying this Chelsea team can't compete, and they have a good tactician, and since then they have won the Champions League, the Super League, and they see how FIFA Club World Cup coming, and you see what they have doing. Like even with Frank Lampard, it was very very evident for all to see that they are not going to make the top 4 that last season. And here they are in the Champions League, won the Champions League and everything. So I believe with that good manager and everything, everybody look at Matthew Kovacic, everybody in that team just massively improved.
Of course, on that
even Kepa Arrizabalaga improved. So it's a big statement when you have every player in the team now looks very very vital. Like every player in the team.
And of course, when you look at the numbers, they've conceded 14 goals in the Premier League since Thomas Tuchel made his first appearance, played his first game as Chelsea manager, and they've kept 15 clean sheets. More clean sheets than goals conceded. Seems Chelsea are just a team. And out of those 14 goals, they conceded 5 against West Brom last season. So Chelsea, I think they are a very difficult team to score against right now, and that makes them title favourites. As Sir Ferguson said, he said defense wins you titles, and of course attacks win you games. So Chelsea are right there, up there. For now, Millwall will be at home against Leicester City, and of course Tottenham Hotspur currently on a run of 2 games without winning. They travel to the Molineux to face Wolverhampton Wanderers for the final game in the Carabao Cup. And the La Liga, Real Madrid will be in action later today. Later on Wednesday, they will be playing against Mallorca. Espanyol will be at home against Deportivo Alaves. Valencia travel to Sevilla, and Villarreal are at home against Elche. Vinicius Junior and Karim Benzema in 5 La Liga games this season. He has 5 goals and 6 assists. Vinicius Junior also has 5 goals and 1 assist. Those two are combining and are doing well for Real Madrid this season. How crucial do you think their early season performance will be for Carlo Ancelotti?
I'm even surprised for Vinicius Junior. Like he has managed to score more goals this season than what he had in combined last 2 seasons. So, and it's a very very big statement. That's the improvement we are talking about when you have the likes of Carlo Ancelotti be your manager. So he's a very very good one. He's a very very good one for the. All
right, let's move away from the La Liga and now talk about Juventus, the team that has been in the topic so far in the Serie A. They played 4 league games this season, and without a win, they draw 2 and then lost 2. After their game in the UEFA Champions League against Malmo, which they won by 3 goals to nothing, we were looking at to up to them that okay, they will come back to the league and then do well. But of course, unfortunately for them, over the weekend they drew 1-0 with AC Milan, even after leading for the most significant part of the game. And right now they are in the relegation zone. Do you think Juventus still have a chance to compete for the Scudetto this season? I mean, you have the likes of Napoli, Inter Milan, AC Milan doing well already.
I won't rule them out. Like I won't rule them out.
But they have 2 points, and others have managed.
I can see Inter Milan and Napoli, AS Roma doing very very fine. But we are seeing match 5. So I don't want to. We can start talking about the title. Let's see, maybe match 12 when we see how things are. It will be shaping.
Of course,
very well. You see.
And let's look at other La Liga games. Other Serie A games we played. AC Milan will be at home against Venezia. Hellas Verona travel to Salernitana, and Cagliari are at home against Empoli. Juventus play away to Spezia. And that will be for that. And in the Serie A, Lionel Messi will not, in the League On, Messi will not be playing this time around. Lille will be at home against Rennes, Monaco or Saint Etienne, Bordeaux travel to Montpellier, Nantes are at home against Brent, Rennes against Clermont, Marseille against Angers, Lens against Strasbourg, Lorient against Nice, Olympique Lyon against Troyes, and PSG against Metz. PSG travel to Metz. And let's talk about these 2 players that are exciting in the league on this season. These 2 Arsenal players currently on loan, William Saliba and Matteo Guendouzi. They are doing very well for Marseille. And if you look at it, the players are Mikel Arteta feel they're not good enough to play for the club. They're now doing very well. Given their age, they've settled well in France and they're playing regular football and they are performing consistently. Most especially William Saliba, who still has a contract with Arsenal. He left on loan without option to buy. Don't you think he should get his chance when he returns to Arsenal at the end of his loan in Arsenal?
That would be dependent on the manager. The manager determines, it's not about just being a good player. Like, what if you don't fit into my system? Like, look at Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea now. Like, if you look at Thomas Tuchel game model last season, towards the end of the part of the season, he actually needed a striker that can hold the ball, that can create that link up, that can hold up, that can be a hold up striker, that can hold up in the pack for them. Imagine now giving him. Imagine giving him. Let me see one striker that is doing very very fine in Europe or something that can just
soft.
Giving him, let's say, Bamford. Or giving him Cavalier when you are saying, they are goal scorer. It's more than just goal scorer, or they are doing very, very fine. They might be doing very, very fine at Marseille because of, 1, intensity
of the league.
2, the challenges, like the expectation. When you are playing for Arsenal, when you are playing in a team for like Arsenal, the expectation when you are playing for Arsenal is different from the expectation when you are playing for Madrid or when you are playing for Manchester United. The people, the fans, everybody demand more.
Yeah, that's true.
And the competition, I don't think Marseille are in the Champions League this season.
Oh, no, yeah.
So, and although Arsenal are not too, so the manager just feel like, these players are not just, they don't fit in to the system. Imagine a manager that having a central back and be like, get me another central back. That means something is wrong. If just like you are saying, Liverpool bringing last season, we saw what happened with Liverpool, the defender crisis and everything. They had to loan Ozan Kabak and everything, and you see they had to quickly bring Ibrahim Kanute from Lisbeth this season. So are you telling me they don't have Gomez or something like that? No, they have, but they just feel like, these players are not reliable enough. So I think that was the case with William Saliba. Let's forget about the fact that they are doing very, very well in the league this season or something like that. William Saliba is here to make a debut for Arsenal.
Of course.
So I think the manager determines that, like, this player, is he going to fit in very, very well to my team?
Well, of course. And that will be all we have time for on the show today. Watch out for the Carabao Cup games and the La Liga games, the Serie A games, and of course the games coming up in the League On. Thank you for joining us on this edition of the program. I'm Afolabi Kende Hassan, and
I'm Dominic Luatebe.
thanks for joining us on this edition of the show. Good day.